The bad guys are using drones. Does anybody disagree with that? Okay. And the federal government has the authority to fight back, does it not? But nobody disagrees with that statement? Sure, Professor.
I would say within limits, yes. Within constitutional limits.
Okay. Do any of you disagree with giving state and local law enforcement the authority to fight back?
Again, within constitutional limits.
Okay.
Welcome back to Republican Forum, your home for true freedom and the values that make America great. There was a congressional hearing recently, and it got heated. The topic was drones, specifically the authority of local and state law enforcement to neutralize malicious drones flying over our critical infrastructure over protests or even potentially acting as surveillance devices. At first, everyone in the room agreed, yes, bad actors are using drones. Yes, they're a threat. Yes, the federal government can act. But when the conversation turned to state and local law enforcement, you know, the men and women who are actually on the ground, that's when the mental gymnastics began. If you're new here, hit subscribe, smash that like button, and turn on the notification bell.
Tell me what your constitutional concerns are, Professor.
So I have three primary concerns. The first has to do with the Fourth Amendment and the conditions under which a warrant is required and a general warrant is forbidden by the Fourth Amendment. So in this particular case, it's important.
Professor, before you give me one of your lectures, are you saying that we should require state and local law enforcement to get a warrant before they fight back?
It depends on the condition. So in an exigent circumstance or something along the border.
I'm aware of the exceptions to the warrant requirement. But you, generally speaking, you want to require them to get a warrant.
Only for the search of a device or the seizure of property. There are also due process implications of that.
Mm-hmm. Okay. You started to mention another one of your objections.
First Amendment.
First Amendment. Okay. Any others?
Yeah, I also have a state rights, a 10th Amendment concern here, which is that states own the airspace adjacent to the land within their state that's not federally owned, and the current federal provisions don't recognize state sovereignty in that way.
So you want to give state and local law enforcement the authority to fight back, but you want to list a whole lot of conditions. Is that a fair assessment?
Not a whole lot, but some. There needs to be a nexus to the facility. It can't be any drone anywhere in America if you're concerned about a particular facility, but right now it's too broad. There have to be acknowledgments of First Amendment concerns. So for instance, limiting the covered facilities to the experience and logic test with which the courts use for right of public access, or prohibiting media bans across the board, or setting a time limit before and after special events so they don't extend extensively. This is what a number of state measures already do, and I'd like to see that at a federal level and apply to bring this within the constitutional limits.
Sounds like a lot of conditions to me.
No, not very many. As long as there's probable cause and the conditions are met, then absolutely you can.
Have you ever heard of a legislative practice called loving a bill to death?
Yes.
Okay. And that's when you take a bill and somebody says, I'm really for this bill. But then they add so many amendments and they screw it up so badly that the bill either becomes ineffective or doesn't pass. Is that a pretty accurate description?
Of the term?
Yeah.
Yes.
You're trying to love this to death, aren't you?
I disagree.
You're not really for giving law enforcement the power to fight back, are you?
I am in favor of giving law enforcement that power and respecting constitutional limits.
I don't believe you, Professor. Okay? You're not talking to Bambi's baby brother here. Okay, I've read some of your stuff. I think you'd be more intellectually honest if you just come out and say, I'm on the side of the bad guys here. I think we shouldn't give state and local law enforcement the authority to fight back. You're trying to make it as hard as possible, aren't you?
We'll have to disagree on that point, Senator.
Nah. You know, you ever heard the expression, watch what they do, not what they say? I've watched what you've done. I know what you believe. Well, you're on the FISA court?
I'm not on the court. No, I'm an amicus for the Foreign Intelligence Surveillance Court and the Court of Review.
Okay. Were you there when you guys issued all those bad warrants against Trump's people?
I can't discuss my work on the court, unfortunately.
Oh, it's top secret, right? You'd have to put me on the American people on double secret probation if you told them the truth, wouldn't you?
No. I can't discuss my matters that I've handled before the court. I can discuss the public ones where I've dealt with First Amendment concerns and the right to petition. I did an extensive history looking at that right
I'm done,
to petition.
Madam Chair.
Thank you. Thank you, Senator Kennedy. We're going to turn it over to Senator Blumenthal.
Let me get this straight. The federal government can stop drones, but your local sheriff has to wait for a warrant and do a constitutional tap dance before taking down a flying security threat. You got to be kidding me. Some Ivy League professor sat there and argued that giving state and local cops the authority to act without a mile-high stack of paperwork would be a violation of the Fourth Amendment, that we need probable cause before even touching that drone. Let me ask you this, Professor. If a drone's hovering over a power plant, church, or a political rally, do you want your local officers calling a judge for permission while that thing potentially drops off explosives or captures private data? Because that's how you get Americans hurt. Look, I love the Constitution. I swore an oath to it. Many of you watching did too. The Fourth Amendment protects us from unreasonable searches and seizures. That's key. Unreasonable. But if a drone is being used by criminals, terrorists, or foreign entities, it's reasonable to stop it. It's common sense. We're not saying cops should spy on people at random. We're saying when there's a threat, they need the authority to act, not be neutered by bureaucratic red tape and ivory tower paranoia. Then they brought up the 10th Amendment, arguing that states have some sovereign authority over their own airspace. Well, we agree, but guess what that should mean? States have the right to protect themselves. But nope. These so-called experts twist the 10th Amendment to say states shouldn't have power to stop drones. Pick a side. They even went on to suggest that media rights and protest coverage mean you can't restrict drones flying over a demonstration. Are you serious? Look, we support the First Amendment. We defend freedom of speech. But we also recognize that free speech doesn't mean unrestricted surveillance or jeopardizing the safety of peaceful citizens, first responders, or the integrity of an event. It's not about silencing anyone. It's about security, clarity, and common sense boundaries. You know what this is really about? It's about a culture war, the same one we've been fighting for years now. You've got lawmakers and professors who see law enforcement as the enemy, who want every decision to go through a 12-step process approved by a lawyer, professor, and a Washington bureaucrat. And on the other side, you got us, the Americans, who believe in law and order and protecting communities and entrusting the men and women in uniform to do what's right in the moment, not wait for permission from someone with a PhD, but no skin in the game. Let me ask you, the viewer, a simple question. If a drone was flying over your backyard, your church, or your kid's school, and it looks suspicious, do you want police to stop it or to wait around debating legal theory? Drop your answer in the comments. But I know what most of you will say. We are in a time where technology is advancing faster than our laws. And if we let slow, paranoid, politicized academia dictate how we handle real-time threats, we're going to lose more than just a battle against drones. We're going to lose our ability to defend our homeland at all. So here's what we demand: give local and state law enforcement clear authority to act on drone threats, pass reasonable legislation that protects both our safety and our rights, stop pretending that every cop is a threat to liberty, and above all, put America's security above elite politics and performative academia. If you're fired up like I am, share this video, tag your representatives, get loud. Because this isn't just about drones, this is about who gets to protect our country. The people who serve and wear the badge, or people sitting in a courtroom 1,000 miles away. I'm proud to be an American, and I stand for law and order, for common sense, and for Constitution, not the weaponized interpretation of it. Thanks for watching Republican Forum. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Until next time, God bless our officers, God bless our Constitution, and God bless the United States of America.